Hey, what's up? We're almost midway through the semester, with the semester having 4 months: September, October, November, December. And with October ending on like next week, I kind of want to do a mid semester reflection, even though there's a couple of exciting stuff coming up next week from me leading a RAG workshop with Big Think AI, NVIDIA conference, and hackathon, and Claude doing some cool stuff here and there. So it's going to be really exciting, I pray. That being said, I think I really want to do a mid semester reflection, considering that something that's been really on my mind is how successful am I being here since I just transferred in. I think when I came here, a measurement of success I was using, even though it might not be the best, was since I was able to do what I did in 4 years of high school and a year of Pittsburgh. I was trying to see, can I do what I did in a year in Pittsburgh in a semester of UMD, or even a month, but I don't think a month would have been a good metric. And this stuff, like, I mean, like how involved I became, the impact I was having, my academic improvement. So since we're almost a semester in, I think it's kind of, I think it would be nice to just do a pit stop and see like how am I doing in regards to that. I think in terms of involvement, I think I've done pretty well. I think even better than Pitt maybe. With Pitt, it was a lot of just becoming president and all that. Or no, I think there was only two president. It was a yeah, it was two government roles. One was the president of the dorm, and then the other was the executive board of the SGA or SGB student government body. I think at UMD I decided I wasn't going to do the student government thing. I wanted to be more involved with the actual government. There was also research I was involved in, and there was a couple other stuff here and there with some tech for good. But with a lot of those technical roles, I didn't have the highest ranking. I didn't have as high as a ranking role. I think a lot of what concerned me then was how, in terms of my technical ability, what was the quality of that? Like, was I just like someone who was very non-technical, like who had very good non-technical skills? And that was because I want to do stuff in tech, right? I don't want to just speak to crowds with TEDx talks and all that. I have to actually build stuff and say I built this, I researched this, these are my papers, this is my work. So that was something that's really bothering me. Where I think in the case of UMD, that's been a bit more reversed. Since I already decided I'm not going to do the student government body thing, it's been more so, okay, I looked at tech roles here and I've been doing a lot. So with Big Think AI, the biggest AI student organization, I became a pioneer lead. So I lead the workshops and stuff like that. Um, with Duke Quantum, I'm an applied quantum machine learning researcher, which I don't feel, even though I say it, I don't feel that much of the role, but that's technically what I am. So I've just been trying to live up to it, I guess now. With Terp Labs, I'm a project manager for a whole new project, and that's really cool because it's like I'm leading my own technical team, and it's been interesting to like. I think that's what excites me in terms of UMD. It's like, okay, now I kind of addressed that insecurity in a sense. I'm really grateful. Thank God, because I think that was something that's always been bothering me for a long time now, since like high school. Um, because being non-technical and being technical has been like the biggest insecurity I've had for a while now. But I think with the involvement, I think I've definitely ramped that up really quickly because it took I think only 1 month, given that even given like during August I was doing a bunch of research. It took 1 month to actually get into those roles and start having that impact there. In terms of academic success, I think that's where it's a bit more tricky. With UMD, when I so with Pittsburgh when I first started, I think classes were a bit easier because I had similar advanced classes. So, for example, my English class, that was basically like a much easier version than like any IB class where you had to write a bunch. So that was pretty easy to get an A in, and like the math classes were pretty similar, right? But here now, I'm sorry, in the second semester, that's when stuff got a bit harder. I wasn't able to keep the pace as much, even though I improved near the second half of the semester. So now here, I think what's happened is that I was kind of coasting a bit. And I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna do this here. I'm not gonna really have a study cycle. I'm gonna say, well, I'm going footlock and all of that. Um, but so far, I haven't really done that. So like even when the midterms came out, a lot of them were B's or like the edge of a B, so like AD1 and all that. And then my CS midterm, that's what's over there. I didn't like the score. It was a high C. I lost 10 points. It's actually technically not a C, it's actually a D. Technically, I lost 10 points because I forgot the TA's name and the TA section. But I get the 10 points back if I never make that mistake again. So I'm just going to count as a 78. Hopefully, not making that mistake again. And I think now it's like, okay, I'm kind of at this inflection point where I can have the same thing as Pitt, where okay, even I locked in near the end, was a bit too late for some classes. Like with intro to matrices and linear algebra, I ended that class with I think a high C. So I don't want to have that same mistake. I still have the time and space and the opportunity to get all of those classes to an A. Because for my CS class, all the projects have been an A, all the other stuff have been an A. With math, surprisingly, all the quizzes have been an A. Like thank Lord, because I actually think with math, the quizzes have been like the most stressful thing, especially since I took a lot of them like some days later for a bunch of different reasons. But then like now I'm taking them on the day of the quiz. It's like okay, I started studying like the night before. I'm really working. I'm like I don't fully grasp the concepts. When I actually do the quiz, I actually have an understanding of the concepts. I think the thing is when I'm studying, it seems like this ginormous monster I'm dealing with versus when I'm actually doing the quiz, it feels like okay, I can see like it's just one guy really. It's like I'm not fighting a whole army. I think that's the best way to explain it. It's like I'm not going to use a Stranger Things analogy, but that's why I think I'm maybe doing really well. I also think I don't know. I think that's pretty much one of the reasons I'm doing really well. But overall, I think it's now at that inflection point where I have to decide. It's not just a matter of locking; it's a matter of having a really good system. And I think that's where I'm kind of lacking in terms of my success. Because I really don't want to just get a B or C in any of these classes. I really want a straight A for myself, but also for the CS applications. That's something I'm trying. Cause I came in here as a letters and science student who wasn't able to get into the CS program because I didn't have the data structures and algorithms 2 and Calc 2 classes done yet. And I need a B minus and above to get into that. I need a B minus and above for those classes to even qualify. Not even talk about my essays and all that or my experience. So I really have to ace those classes, right? So for myself and for my CS application, I don't think this is a time where I can coast. So I think that's really the one part that's really lacking right now with my semester. I think that's where I have to really ramp up a bit. With the extracurriculars, I think that's going really well. I think there's some changes I want to make to some organizations. So like Big Think AI, I'm really loving that. I'm really getting excited for everything that we're doing. I think now one of the initiatives I kind of really want to lead is, even though it's a bit non-technical, is I want to build more of a community there. I want to build more of a cultural aspect where it's like, okay, you have people conversing. And that's slowly ramping up, which is exciting to see. I know today we're talking about Sora AI and all that. So really just kind of building that. So just having some, what's the word here? I think community building events will be really cool. 'Cause I think the community building events make the technical events flow more smoother. And my idea here is that what I've noticed in my workshops is that the people who attend more frequently are much more comfortable with me and like me talking and them asking questions. So once you can have that community, it becomes less of me talking to the people and more of a conversation. Like, okay, here's these tools, here are these resources, here's the concept. It's like, oh, I don't understand this. Oh, actually, I learned this, and you have a much more fluid conversation, and everyone benefits. So I really think those community building events are kind of integral to like this whole technical thing. Um, but yeah, so I think that's where I am. Let me see. I also think I have to go to office hours more. I think I haven't really been doing that for some reason. So far, I think it's not even like it hasn't been a matter of like I'm not grasping the concept. I think what I've noticed is that my the amount I grasp the concept really depends on the amount of time I allocate to the topic. So like with math, like the topics are really difficult. Don't get me wrong, but then like if I allocate like enough time, I'm like okay. By the time like I do like let's say 3 hours of studying or something, I'm like oh dang this makes sense. Right? I think that's where my math studying, my CS studying, my other classes studying, that's the issue right now. It's not even a matter of okay, my brain is just not thinking the same way. It's a matter I'm not putting enough time into the work. I'm not putting enough time into the subject. So I think that's really what has to change. My math teacher made a good point that if you really want to succeed on these midterms, you have to do like an hour studying every day. I thought that was crazy at first, but I started counting like the amount of time I allocate to different stuff in my day. I actually have a lot of time to study. I just don't. So really going to try and do that. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think those were kind of the metrics I was really using to evaluate my success. I think socially, so far actually going much better than Pitt. I also think that's I would. The reason for that I think is one, I'm from Maryland. I grew up in Maryland. I graduated high school in Maryland. So my social network, a lot of them also came to UMD or just in the Maryland area, right? So that's one reason. But I also think the person I grew up to be in Pitt has allowed me to be much more social. Because I realized the consequences of not being as social or just trying to keep it to myself. Even though I was in very social positions, it was like I wasn't soaking in the socialness, if that makes sense. So I've been doing less of that. I've actually been more reaching out. I think I've noticed much more success with that. So I think social life also just improved way faster. But yeah, I think overall that's pretty much my assessment. I would give it a B minus right now. With that academically, if I can ramp up the academics, allocate the appropriate amount of time and improve my systems, that thing will be like an A plus. I'll be crazy. I think it'll be. I'll notice a lot of drastic improvements. Um, this isn't something I actually account for with a semester, but I think also internships is another thing. I think my internship applications have actually gone down, right? So I have to increase that. I think I've been focusing too much on one company, and that's not the best thing to do because if I get rejected from that company, it's like, okay, now what do I do? So I have to re-increase my internship applications, also Grindly code, and the last thing I forgot, I was going to talk about earlier. I haven't gotten official research assistant position yet, so I'm still working on that. So those are a couple of other things I have to do. But yeah, besides that though, I have nothing else to say. So have a great day.